Moods can fluctuate a bit, can have different reasons. Sometimes maybe there's something low-key which may bother me a bit. Journaling can help a lot on this instance. People often say like, how do I journal? What I often like to do is I just write down, I'm feeling a bit low today. Okay. And then I ask myself, okay, why do I feel that way? Then I come up with a reason. For example, I do feel a bit low because no one had time to do something today. And then I ask myself, okay, is that actually the reason why I feel low? And very often that's not the case. For example, then the actual reason is, for instance, there was something going on last week which I didn't address in that situation, and then that's me feeling low just because no one had time to do something today. It's then just like an excuse, or like your distraction from your issue just didn't take place, and that's why the feeling kicked in. Then in that instance, it's just very important to be fully honest with yourself, and then these questions like help a lot, like why do I feel that way? Once you identify the reason, then talk like, is that actually the reason why I feel that way? And when you have then that second reason, for instance, say, you agreed to do something at work last week, but you actually didn't really want to do that, then you ask yourself again, okay, is that the reason? Or is it maybe even something deeper? For example, it's a certain person, and then you always say yes to that person because maybe you're scared that they will disapprove you if you would say no, if you would reject doing a favor for them. It's then really with every question like digging deeper, and then it's like, okay, is it always with that person? And maybe you can even go a bit to a general level. It's like, actually I generally too often say yes to people. It's very interesting, like whilst I'm speaking here, in the beginning I didn't even expect that I would end up with, for example, questions like that, like saying yes to people. And that's why it's so interesting and so valuable to journal, because in the beginning you didn't know why you felt that way, but it's just such a good method to empower yourself and find out the root cause of your feeling. And what you do then, for example, then you find out, okay, I'm saying yes too often to other people, then you then write down solutions. For example, one solution could be, before I respond when someone asks me for a favor, then I could, for example, always take 5 seconds of time to make a reflected decision, instead of when your kind of core belief, which is always saying yes if people ask you because you want to please them, or you feel like you owe something to others always. Then you make a reflected decision, and then in these 5 seconds you ask yourself, okay, does my true self want that? And maybe your true self says, oh, actually, I want to go a bit home actually earlier today because my flat is a mess and I want to clean it up, and if I wouldn't do that I would come home, be in the same mess again and feel shit about myself. So it's really then, once you identified the root cause, write down a few kind of solutions you could do to address that, and it gives a lot of power to yourself. And yeah, if you ask me, it's just amazing because you get into position of power by identifying your feelings. You're not a victim of your feelings, and then dig down, be fully honest to yourself. And I know it's so hard to be honest to yourself, because especially when you come down to things like, oh, actually I do say too often yes to people, it hurts because you feel like, okay, actually I'm not doing myself a favor here. But trust me, if you embrace that self-honesty, is like so important. So in summary, write down how you feel, no expectations. Then ask yourself why you feel that way, and then be critical. And always ask, okay, is that reason the reason why I feel that way, or is it actually something different? Be critical, go deeper. Once you identify the potential cause, then write down some solutions, and then you feel like, okay, I'm clear, I'm aware of my feelings, and I'm also aware of what I can do. I'm not a victim anymore of what happens around me, and then you can start and address